If you've ever gone hungry because the vending machine ate your last dollar, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. We are almost at the end of the week. We got some stuff to trade today. We will make as much sense out of it as possible. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks. Good morning and happy Thursday. Welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. Let me go ahead and bring on my main man, 13. How you doing here today, 13?
I'm doing all right. Just kind of watching T-Bio. We'll talk about this one in a second, but I was talking about this earlier. So just to witness, see what it does. How are you doing this morning, man? How's everybody?
I'm doing all right. Let's go ahead and dive into the SPY here first. I know we've got some of the smaller things to take care of today or to set up here for today. So we'll see if those give us some setups. But first, we'll start with the SPY. I got to be honest with you. This is one of the most boring periods I've ever been a part of in the market. I'm at the point now where on some of these days, I pretty much as soon as we're done here, I just close my broker and I just leave it for the rest of the day. Yesterday, we had a pathetic session. We had 32 million shares or something like that worth of volume. Really had nothing going on. And we just seem kind of range bound here up near the highs. So we'll see if we can actually trade any higher and go towards those all-time highs, or if we can break down to one of these support levels. But I don't know. After yesterday's session, I don't really know what to make of it. What say you, 13?
Yeah, it seems like we are in a bit of a range for now. Maybe up until we get PPI and CPI next week, we could be in this range that we're trading in. Just pull up my SPY. I'll tell you what that range is. We've been in it for a little bit now. Talked about those levels. Those levels are, we've been trying to see if the price will get above 518.30. That might happen today following this jobless claims report that is kind of igniting rate cut hopes. But that range that I was talking about, we've been kind of in between 515.50 and that 518.30 for the past few days after getting up into this area on Monday. We've consolidated around in this area a little bit before, but same upside and downside targets still apply. Could go as low as the 50, which is down near 512, or we could just break out over 518.30 and go up to 520, or maybe go back to the all-time highs again. So either way, right now, it's going to be range bound until I think there's some significant news.
Okay. Hopefully we will get that significant news. We'll see what we get for earnings reports too. I will be honest, the earnings reports that we've got this week really haven't seemed to drive much of anything, as we've really just kind of been in a pretty tight range here this week. Yep. Okay. As a reminder, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting above that 25K day trading threshold, or you simply need more buying power for your trading, they might be the people to help you out. So go ahead and check them out. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the smaller stocks. You had mentioned T-Bio, possible reverse splitter coming up here. What's going on?
They actually did do a reverse split. They were halted this morning to perform that. They unhalted about 10, 15 minutes ago. So now it is able to be traded under the new price. No volume quite yet, but these reverse splits, they do tend to pick up, and we'll get into how I know that in just a second if you're new here. It's just something we've been monitoring and seeing so far this year, but there's another company that is also moving on a reverse split they did yesterday. So we might be a little bit early in T-Bio, but I am keeping an eye on this one because these reverse splits do tend to run pretty handily. And I think now that the float's underneath $1 million, it's going to be easy to push around.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we're expecting this to unhalt here pretty soon, so we should get an idea of whether or not this is going to work pretty soon.
It is unhalted. It is unhalted.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What is the other stock that you wanted to take a look at?
Well, there's a IVP. They don't have any news, but they did a recent reverse split. That was actually yesterday. It's a 1-for-100 reverse split they did. Now their float is 853,000 shares. I don't see any other news. That's a good point, Jay Rice. It's not down a lot like the other ones that tend to just kind of fall shortly after. And then shoot back up. But yes, Jonathan Cooper, yes, reverse split yesterday. So these reverse splits, they do tend to create trading opportunities, and that's why I have T-Bio on my radar.
And we've seen some of these run like multiple days too. Some of them are very short-lived. Others actually run for multiple days. So, are you planning on trading IVP at all, or are you just kind of monitoring that?
I am going to be starting off by just looking to see what these do. I want to see some setups. I don't like to just jump into these names that can, especially when they have really, really low floats, they could just absolutely crush you in your trade. So I'm going to wait for some setups so I feel more comfortable about getting in this. I just don't want to jump in and lose my hat.
Okay, real good stuff though. At least we've got some things to look at here right away. Let's take a look at the movers tool, then we'll go ahead and take some tickers from the chat. Zoltan, we will take a look at ENVX if you want here. But let's go ahead and roll through the movers tool. We do have a couple that look like they're going to produce some pretty big gaps today. And the first one here is going to be ticker CPOP. This is CPOP, Pop Culture Group Company. What a name. Pop Culture Group shares are trading higher after the company reported a year-over-year increase in H2 2023 revenue results. So it looks like we've got some earnings here for CPOP that's driving this higher. Stocks up over 100% here today. What do you think about CPOP?
Yeah, their earnings haven't come out yet. That's in a couple of weeks, I believe. But they did mention that their year-over-year. No, don't worry about it. You're good. The year-over-year increase in revenue is just a mention that they had, and that's what grabbed the headline attention. So they have yet to report earnings, but that's coming up. They do have a 3.1 million share float, and they did a reverse split last year in October, but I don't think that has any material effect. And we're moving here right now in CPOP. This is also an old ex-girlfriend that we traded in February.
Yeah, this one has been moving all morning here. So it looks like we're actually trying to set some new highs here on the big volume spike here on CPOP. Okay, really good stuff there.
Could be a good one.
13.
Yep,
really good stuff there. Okay, next one here is going to be TAOP, and this is Taoping. Now, this is one that we are no stranger to. We have seen this one on the relative volume scanner a number of times. I feel like we've traded this one here in this session before. So TAOP, we've seen this one trade before. This one was a penny stock yesterday, popped up just above $1.50, and it's coming back in here today. Taoping launches a new enhanced AI-powered smart terminal. Okay, so first of all, this is one of those Chinese names, so let's keep that in mind. But 13, this to me seems like just kind of a buzzword throw-in.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought when I saw it too. So it's got a couple of them. It's got AI enhanced, smart anything, even though we've had smart devices for a while. This has a 3.89 million share float. They did a reverse split last August.
Okay. Real good stuff there. Lynn saying, good to see you guys. Major tornado 20 minutes away. We are okay. Scarier than the market. Lynn, sorry to hear that. Definitely stay safe. The market will be here after the tornado passes. Sorry.
No, that was me trying to interrupt you. I'm sorry. So the thing I was looking at yesterday, because to what she was mentioning, there's been some tornadoes in northern Alabama near Huntsville. There was a whole storm cell that was moving through that area. So yes, we hope Lynn and Randy are taking care of themselves and staying safe, because that's very close to where they're at, is my understanding.
Okay. IVP, that was one we kind of already covered here from the movers tool. That's one of the reverse splits. Interesting. We had Hood here, right? So Hood, this is kind of been crazy recently for Hood. They had the Wells notice that brought them down. We had earnings that has taken us higher. And now it looks like we're actually trying to trade up towards 20. So looks like Hood, pretty good day, at least a pretty good start here, trading higher after they reported earnings. And so let's see. I mean, the earnings here were last night on Hood. I actually was wondering if we were going to, yes, Piper Sandler. Okay. I was wondering if we're going to get any re-ratings here on Hood with the Wells notice kind of floating out there. Piper Sandler maintains neutral on Robinhood and raises the price target. So they didn't change their rating, just changed their price target on Hood. We'll see if this one actually gives us any trading opportunities here today.
I'm a little concerned with the Hood. It's moving up. If you look at the report, their earnings did really well because of two things essentially. It's moving on to two things that were positive out of the report. Essentially, it's their revenue that they got from the crypto craze that happened last quarter. They do have a crypto trading platform with their application. So that pulled in a lot. And then they also launched their gold credit card, which has got a huge waiting list on that right now. So
that was my big takeaway from the earnings report last night.
Yeah.
Didn't they say 1 million plus on the gold waiting list? Something like
I
that.
think it's like 100 million, something crazy like that.
That is crazy. Let's see if it's in here.
It should be on one of the headlines.
Yeah, here we go.
Over 1 million. I'm sorry, not 100 million. 1 million.
Over 1 million on gold credit card wait list.
Not 100 million, not 1 million. I was way off.
I wonder if that's just a status symbol or if they're actually planning on making that their main card. In any case, Robinhood trading higher here. We'll see if that gives us a trade here today. I just kind of want to run through a couple of these. X4, we've traded this before. I don't really feel all that great about it. And Neo, we kind of know what Neo's about. Not my favorite trader. Did notice that SOUN was on the Gappers list here this morning. This actually had a huge reversal in the morning yesterday. They actually gave a pretty good trade. Really didn't do anything the rest of the day. We'll see if Soundhound gets rolling here today. Okay. What other stocks do you want to take a look? Oh, you know what? There's one more that we should mention here that might be in play today. That's going to be CTMX. This is Cytum Therapeutics. This had a wild after hours yesterday. I know we talked a little bit about some of the extended sessions yesterday. This just goes to show you what can happen in some of those extended sessions when the big volume and the market makers aren't there. Cytum Therapeutic shares are trading lower, pulling back after surging after hours Thursday following initial data from the ongoing CX-904 phase 1A dose escalation clinical study. So I think I saw Jane mention that you were trading this later in the day yesterday, and this made for a really nice trade for you. Could have sworn I saw that earlier. Sorry if I missed that. Looks like we had a huge move in the after hours and then gave everything back and actually went red. Now we're drifting up here today. I would imagine that there's still some people left over from the after hours trading yesterday. This stock could absolutely be in play here today.
There you go. I'll keep that on my radar too.
Yeah, just to see if there's a bounce in there or anything, or just to see if this moves around. Definitely wild. Actually, you know what? I didn't note it when I first looked at this just came out, because when I first looked at this morning, this was not here. Wedbush upgrades Cytum Therapeutics to outperform and raises the price target to 8. So this is not just a price target raise. This is also an actual ratings change. So that might give it some of the juice to kind of bounce here today.
Their daily chart ain't looking too bad either. I mean, it's got a pretty decent formation that could suggest that we see it, recapture some of that those higher levels that was at previously. Look at the daily. Is that your daily there? I can't tell where.
Yeah. This is the daily. Yep, this is the daily. Yeah.
So I mean, that looks like it found a support level around the we'll call it 365 area, or close to that, 365, 370. That was a previous level there too. So it might be bouncing off that. Not sure, but looks like a pretty decent formation. Be looking to see if it can recapture the fours. Yeah, for this one, I'd want to see what happens here
when the market actually opens, right? Like I want to see, do we get a pronounced move in either direction? That might actually set the stage for trades the rest of the day here. Okay. That takes care of CTMX. What other stocks do you folks want to take a look at? I'll go ahead and bring back my main chart tool here. We could take a look at whatever you want. I think you didn't have anything else on your list, did you, 13? I'm not.
No, I don't. I'm just seeing, people talking about EBS, ARM, and also Tilray and SBUX.
Okay, let's do ENVX real quick first. This is one that Zoltan mentioned. I don't see a whole lot of action here today in ENVX, but this is a little bit of a pullback off that recent move. If we take a look at the daily chart here, I think that this daily chart also looks pretty good. Looks like we kind of held the gap. So I know we talk about this in the island formations. Generally, I like to see islands break to new price areas, but this still pretty bullish here. Looks like we might be trying to take out the 100-day moving average at 954, current price here at 909. So really not that far away. And if we do that, I really think the next big test here is going to be at 1118 on ENVX. Now, Zoltan, I know that you look into a lot of these companies. Let the group know what it is that you really like on the ENVX. I can't remember which one this was or if we've talked about that before.
The
Go ahead.
830 level on ENVX looks pretty good. If you look at a daily chart and draw a line there, that seems to be where the support was when after we got that first candle for the floating island. That came down to that level and found support there. That's also been a previous level. I think that 830 is where you're going to see support if we do see some downside.
Yeah, and 830 was also that support from November. So I agree. I think if we do get downside, you will probably see some support there. But let's see on ENVX. No big volume here this morning, so not necessarily expecting this to be juicy right out of the open. A couple of you folks mentioning stocks that we've taken a look at. Let me just roll through them real quick here. PanW looks like this is continuing. So this bounce off the 200-day. This has really been a great trade so far. Next step here, you can see we did challenge the 100-day. We were pretty much rejected there. To me, this looks like a pullback maybe to the 20. That's at 289. Current price is at 298. We'll see if it holds there or if it maybe pulls back. I will say if this comes back in to one of these moving averages and does a good job holding it like it did down here at the 200-day, I actually think this might be a decent swing long on PanW here. They're still doing really, really well. All right. Let's see. Wis mentioning CPOP. Yeah, we talked about that one. We're going to be looking at that one a lot today. I suspect. I think that's going to be one of the big traders that we're taking a look at. Starbucks being mentioned here. Starbucks, as far as my trade plan here on Starbucks, I'm still waiting for a 70 break to the downside. This chart definitely looks weak to me. We are really clearly at a pretty big support, and we've had not a whole lot of great news coming out of Starbucks, including their earnings. So to me, I'm kind of awaiting a 70 break here. I'm not necessarily interested in trading this to the upside, at least not at the moment.
Yeah, I have a long-term plan with this one. So I expect it later on, maybe in a year or two, it'll be much better. But for now, right now, I think it's just trying to find a bottom. We'll probably get some confirmation on that at some point soon here. But yeah, I think we need to, if we're going to be going long on this, depending on your trade plan, you might want to see some lower prints first, or see it finally establish a bottom before maybe considering it.
All right, next one here from the chat is going to be Palantir. This is quickly becoming another one of the really more popular stocks, if you will. We seem to talk about this one, trade this one quite a bit, and it's not just our group. It's actually teammates of mine here at BZ and others on FinTwit. Palantir seems to be gaining popularity. In any case, if we take a look at the recent run-up and then the crush by earnings brought us back into the 100, and right now it looks like we're kind of consolidating around that line. So this is actually a pretty simple plan for me, especially with the compressing 20-day moving average here. As long as we're able to hold this 100 like we did the last time we came back down here Friday and Monday, that's April 19th and April 22nd. If we're able to do the exact same thing here, I think you actually have another possible entry for a swing long. Unsure if it actually takes out this high pre-earnings, but if we can move back up and start reclaiming some of these moving averages, perhaps we can build some strength here. The other thing that's notable, we talked a little bit about the island formation here. We did pop to a new area. If we continue to, or if we do not break down from here, we actually still have that island intact. So maybe we can really kind of trade up to those highs. We actually have those highs at about 27.50 here on Palantir. So I do like this one. I will say, we had Matt Malley on this week. He loves this for the long term. I was just trading short-term options for it, but it might be time to start building a longer-term position here on Palantir. If I do that, I'm going to be adding only on weakness. I'm not going to be chasing days where it's trading up.
Yeah, there's some, I'm in this one right now, and I'm trading around a position right now, but I do want this to go up, and I want to be long for it when it does. One of the things I'm looking for right now, since we're kind of going down a bit, is I want to see the $20.25 level provide support. It's done that before.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did that back in last month. It looks like we're headed down to that level again. I'm going to want to see it hold that. If not, it's going to probably come down and maybe go under 20 to the $18 price target. I think some of these analysts were talking about when they were expecting more weakness.
Okay. All right, good stuff there on Palantir. What else do you folks want to take a look at? Wis, you're mentioning AGBA, but you're still on that bad boy. I got to get the ticker right here. Hang on one sec. Is this moving around here this morning? Indeed. AGBA curling up here. Had a down day yesterday. We'll see if AGBA is able to actually curl back up here. A pretty decent formation here on the daily chart. 385 going to be that 500-day moving average. Really should find some support there. 4 minutes till we get started. Thank you very much, STFU.
Yeah, I think 4 is in the cards for AGBA. It does look like it's going to head there. Got a bit of consolidation to get through in the high threes though, so we'll see what happens at that point.
Okay, AMD being mentioned here by the chat. This really finding some resistance right at that 20, although it looks like something's got to happen here, right? Looks like we're getting ready to break out here on AMD or break out from this 20-day resistance. We'll see if we end up getting that. I don't really have anything else on AMD. We really haven't had any recent news, right? Yeah.
Zim hit 15.
Yeah, I know Jay Rice was asking you about Zim. Let's take a look at that as well. Here is Zim. That was a really, really good hold, really good conviction on that when that thing was getting pounded in the single digits. So there you go. Zim, this one looking pretty good. You got any trade plan here?
Hey, 515 was it. If we get up there, then I don't know what happens. We've been rejected up there several times, so that would be the exit. But there's also a gap to fill between 1606 and 1736. So that's another possibility. But it's been moving up quite a bit. I would probably, I don't have any left. But if I did have some here, I'd probably be rigging the register because it's really overbought right now, and I would want to see this pull back a bit before it goes higher. So
are you adding that on the next pullback if it does that?
I just may. I'll let you know if I do.
Oh, real good stuff there. Sally's saying should have held my Zim. This thing's all over the place. I know that one of the reasons that you trade Zim is for this specific stock, right? Jay mentioning I think BOAT here is the ETF for some of these shippers. That's doing really well. This might be kind of helpful to look at in some of those trades. But I know we were going after Zim just specifically for Zim, just because of how it moves in relation to the shipping rates.
It was a specific reason for Zim, and it was specifically having to do with the volatility in that particular region. So yes, this is pretty much almost 100% of what I was looking for in Zim. It's worked out really, really well. And awesome job, Jane Smith. You got those diamond hands, and you're getting paid for it. Absolutely, 100%. Great job.
Yeah, awesome stuff there. Jay mentioning A-Lab. This is one that we continue to take a look at, and I think we will take a look at more and more here. If you look at the daily chart here on A-Lab, looks like we're trying to hold 70. Jay saying just popped it. It was a short at Hedgeye yesterday. Well, it's popping here today. How's Boot Barn doing after that short that we got yesterday?
We did get some response on Boot Barn from one of our happy hour attendees. So there's some.
You want to share it with the group?
Well, he was just saying that he took a couple hours to go through the 89-page report that Spruce Point wrote, and it's very detailed, extremely transparent, has images of all supporting documents, pictures, and everything. And anyone can go through and easily verify all the concerns that lay out in the report. But after reading it, you won't hold the stock overnight until there's major management changes or the stock price pulls back substantially.
So it looks like they like the short report there. I think it's well done, and this is likely to move down. Okay, well, the instant reaction there, not great, right? The dip on that release of that short report totally bought back here on Boot Barn. One of the highlights that we were discussing yesterday is that this is a store that holds a lot of inventory.
Here we go.
So if you get a weakening consumer, this might be at risk. Okay, let me flip over to the main workspace here. Then we'll get the trade the pool broker up for execution shortly. See what that opening print gives us here today.
All right. So C-Pop, what are you doing? Are you going to pop out of the gate?
Also watching T-Bio. Might just kind of come back to that one here for you.
I don't think T-Bio was getting the attention yet, but I'm sure once it gets there's a realization that they just reverse split, we might see that, and it could happen tomorrow too. It could be something that takes a day like IABF did.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
All right, I'm going to flip over to the execute. It's kind of a slow open here, but let me get the there we go.
Oh wow.
There we
Zim,
go. Boom,
right?
boom, boom.
Zim with the pop out of the gate there, almost to that 550 level I was talking about. But this would be a day to sell, in my opinion. For
Yeah,
Zim. That's
sell into strength 13. That's really good stuff. That's exactly what we should be doing.
But that's that's up to you. I'm not giving you trading advice. You trade how you feel you should trade.
CTMX is not really doing much of anything. We'll see if this ends up picking up. So far, really no interest there. CTMX. IVP, the other reverse splitter that 13 gave you here, looks like that is popping here and going higher than the VWAP.
Mullen is ripping right now out of the gate. One of the only ones to do so at the moment.
Hood being mentioned by KB in the chat. Good morning, by the way, KB. Hood, looks like this was kind of a reversal, right? That first move was higher, and then it reversed back down to the VWAP. Interesting to see if this goes lower. CTMX going lower here.
No, Webcoin. It's not donut tanking. It's donut dunking. Anyway.
I liked it, 13. I liked it. I liked it.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm not feeling great today, so I don't have my normal energy. But I did like that. I thought.
Hey,
that was
don't worry. I'm gonna change your ways. All right. So IVP had a nice pop over VWAP. The pre-market high for this one is 564. So I'm pretty sure we're trying to get up to there and take that out. So far, not able to even get to some of these lower highs that it was making in pre-market, but we'll see what happens here with IVP. It's got a lot of good volume right now. T-Bio do anything yet? Not really. CPOP might be turning around here.
Ooh, VITL. Good mention, Sally. This is trading up here on volume, although I don't see entry for this one. CPOP, you said?
Yeah, CPOP. We're starting to go here, trying to take out the pre-market highs of 379. It's kind of butting up against all those shares that are trying to push it down right now, and we're through. New highs in CPOP. Hooray!
Rivian, after a really disappointing day yesterday, Rivian's trying to curl back up.
Next upside target for CPOP that I have is 475. Oh, now IVP is suspended after knifing from that opening pop.
Whew, halt to the downside. Nasty there, IV. Glad I wasn't trading that. I'd have been smoked in that halt.
Yeah, so it looks like everybody that was trying to do that is now moving over to CPOP.
Okay, Jane out CPOP. Nice job on that trade right out of the gate here. CPOP
Nice.
Looking like it's going to try and take 4. Honestly, Jane, what I like what you just did there. I know this is moving through 4, but just as some strategy here, we've seen some of these stocks really kind of get rejected at those levels. So I'm not, if you're in from, the 370, 360, 380 handle in there, and then you're selling right at that resistance, I think that's prudent. And if it look how it just came back in, it's going to likely give you an opportunity to trade it again. So just taking that gain, booking those gains at resistance, I don't really think that's a bad move at all.
I'm not gonna harp on anybody for exiting too early. In this environment, you got to be careful.
Yeah, well said. Well said. 13.
Oh my God, look at Zim go! It is going to hit that gap, and it's probably going to fill it. Wow.
16's coming here on Zim.
Yep.
This is why we trade this one.
Yeah. Well, I should have still been in it, but rules.
Yeah. Well, those rules resulted in you booking a positive trade. So, I mean, that's not the end of the world. That could have been a lot worse. Yeah, that could have been.
And multiple times too, because I traded around this for a while. So this was a fun one, but I'm just not in this one for this big move up here.
EBS, this has been a recent big winner for our group here. This pulling back for EBS, one of the spots to watch here. Let's see if we actually hold this intraday low. Or, excuse me, yesterday's intraday low. I beg your pardon.
Wow. What a move in Zim. Right to 16. Right to 16. Now we need to pull back. It's just so overbought. TAOP, not a good one to start the day. So far, CPOP's been pretty good, but it's been popping and then slightly dropping. Same thing with Hood, popping and
Zim
dropping.
has memed.
Has it? Has it memed?
Mooned. Any of those. Zim keeps going here.
Lion Atlas, I'm there with you on FMC. It's rocking. It is rocking. I mean, it's it's not like these smaller names that have these big moves, but for something that's in double digits, been around for a while. This is it's pretty good price action we're seeing over the past few days.
Affirm looks like this is trying to go higher here. Interesting. CPOP still doing a decent job of trying to hold above 4, and now it broke beneath it.
VERI volume isn't too great, but it's got some pretty good moves out of the gate here. Looking for 4.
Bumble pulling back. What did this have earnings yesterday? What was the pop here on Bumble?
Ooh, Palantir.
Yeah, Bumble shares are better than expected Q1 financial results. Evercore maintained outperform and raised the price target from 17 to 18. Bumble pulling back here, giving up most of its earnings move. This might be one to watch for a bounce here, folks. Ticker BMBL.
PLTR, that one just right out of the gate going down. That's fine though, because we were talking about adding.
Yeah.
So it can go down all at once. I'd be adding. I'm going to be adding if it goes under 20.
Okay.
That'll be today. If it goes under 20, I'll pick some more up today.
Gotcha.
All right.
SCZL was being mentioned. This thing was up huge, 50+% on earnings. Sezzle. I'm not familiar with this one. This is actually going to require some research, but that's just a big beat there. Big beat, big move here. Sezzle up 62% this morning.
We're getting mentions of GDX printing money and also GSUN. Let's take a look.
Sezzle, financing institution that offers technology-driven payment platform. Allows companies to split their purchases into 4 installments. So this looks like buy now, pay later. Pay over 6 weeks.
Nice, Carmen.
Interesting. Those buy now, pay later stocks are moving up.
One of the things I was also noticing since we were talking GDX, or Lion was talking GDX, is I also saw SLV up pretty early as well. I could have sworn I saw some news that last night that made me think, we're going to see more inflation. I think it was some kind of bill being introduced about wiping out medical debt. Let me see if I can find that.
Okay.
I think it was
Ben F popping here. Crow saying Ben F red to green move possible. Ben F up.
Yeah. Okay. So some of the liberal senators have introduced a bill that cuts off medical debt by requiring hospitals to uphold their obligation to provide charity care to eligible patients, blah blah blah. So I don't have all the details on this, but whenever I see some kind of bill being introduced to relieve debt off of Americans, then I think, okay, well, there's more money that we need to introduce into the system, and that's just going to cause more inflation. So probably the reason why we're seeing these metal stocks like the GDX and SLV move.
TAOP curling off the bottom here. Looks like it's trying to take the VWAP here.
Oh, Wisdom, you're taking off so early? All right, well, have a good one, man.
TAOP testing that VWAP.
Yes, it certainly is.
See if we can have the strength to get through. They just brought in some big offers that got hit, actually. They took half of it right away there. Interesting.
Remember, junky name with buzzwords.
MC's and saying staying conservative today and calling it here.
Good.
Not a bad. Look at there is the drop on TAOP. Careful there.
I am not faulting anybody if they don't want to trade today, because hey, look, this market has a really, really, sketchy tape. You just got to be careful. So if you're not going to trade, hey, guess what? You still have the same money you started with. So I think that's a win. This is the SATs, folks.
Sally, you're getting your pullback here on SLQT. This is select quote. What was popping? Did they have earnings too? It's not one that was on my radar. Let me see here. Yeah, conference call is in progress. Earnings were this morning on SLQT. So this is pulling back here. If this holds, maybe you get a bounce.
I know there's some folks in happy hour that are going to be really happy about INOD getting up to almost 11 last night, and now it's going to come back up there, it seems. INOD was a good one.
Unfortunately, was not in INOD for this move. I hit the last one, but not this one.
Oh, Wisdom gave me a friend before he left. CETOS, Custom Truck One Source. What is this? Oh, interesting. I'll have to look into this one some more. There's a lot of insider buying happening, and they have a good amount of institutional ownership. I've never heard of this company.
That gives us something else to research here. Reddit pounding lows here, really weak this morning. A-Lab, you're mentioning, is fading as well, Jay. A-Lab actually fading back to a support area on the daily. Let's call it 65-ish. 65 in there.
Thank you for CETOS Wisdom. I'm going to look into that. Big sell in NVIDIA. I think it was Stay Focused yesterday in Happy Hour who told us, or was asking me, maybe SOSX might be a good play.
Looks like it was. I mean,
looks like it was.
Huge pullback here. How is SOX doing?
Up 2%.
Yeah, not a bad move here.
Yeah.
The market is completely pulling here, and it's not just the NASDAQ. I've got the SPY and the NASDAQ. The Dow's doing a good job holding in there, but big red candles here on the SPY and the NASDAQ. 516.50 incoming here on the SPY.
You said the Dow's doing okay, but
it's the price action. It's holding there, yeah.
Whenever I hear something like that, I'm thinking, okay, so that might mean more of a rotation out of some of these, big names that everybody's been hiding out in, or some of these other names, and into the value names, the really strong ones.
Every time I think that, every time I look at the Dow, I think that too, and it never really materializes for more than a few minutes. I'd love for value and fundamentals to kind of come back to this market. That would make my trading a lot better. That's for sure.
Yeah, it only seems to kind of work out when it wants to, doesn't it? Oh, the technicals are failing, but hey, look at the fundamentals. Oh, okay, let's drive this thing up.
IVP getting mentioned from Crow. This might be curling. IVP. How is what was the other?
CPOP?
No, the other T-Bio.
T-Bio.
That's not really right moving. Now. Yeah,
I just don't think it's quite noticed yet. But like I said, it could be tomorrow that this thing goes. It's just these reverse splits. It might take up to a day to get noticed, but IVF or IVP, I mean, this is one such a reverse split that didn't. It took a whole day to get noticed, and it was a 1 for 100. Wow, Hood just getting slapped. CPOP isn't looking great with all these upper shadows here, and if it loses VWAP, it's going to be about 370 that we'll see that breakdown.
INOD, big rip out of the gate on INOD.
It certainly is. INOD and Zim, two names that we have really talked about a lot, and they are absolutely crushing it. And we are all over these two, especially.
We've been. I mean, I've traded INOD. I've traded INOD for a few years at this point now, and actually made some pretty decent money on that.
AGBA,
Shark Ninja going for the pre-market highs. Ticker SN. Shark Ninja.
You look at AGBA.
Lunar at the highs. Here is AGBA.
Still not above the pre-market high. I have that at 370. Oh, let me take a look at something. I wonder if one of the reasons why Zim is moving is because we might have found a bit of a bottoming in the shipping container rates. We're starting to curl. So I'm wondering if this is gonna, if they're front running this move back into higher rates. We'll see. I'm not looking at Zim. I'm looking at the Drury shipping rates.
Yeah, I'm just I was just bringing it up for a visual aid here.
Gotcha.
INOD up another 30 cents from when we last talked about it. This thing actually has some squeeze effect going on. It looks like INOD was highly shorted, by the way. So maybe that will continue here. Market continuing to pull here, at least the NASDAQ at the lows. NVIDIA, that was the short out of the gate here. SMCI probably doing the same thing. Jay, weren't you mentioning earlier that Spruce Point, that same company that did a short report on Boot Barn, did one on SMCI when it was in double digits?
Oh.
Is that correct? Am I getting that right there?
Jay, I think you're pretty much correct on how those are better stocks. I think we were only looking at Zim because of the unique situation it was in, and there was volatility around it. I totally agree that the ones you're bringing up are probably better for the long term, but for the purposes of making trades, I think Zim is where we were looking at it.
Nice job, Purgatory. Probably I don't think I did anything there, but awesome. Glad you made money off of it. That's what it's all about. INOD going for 1150, it looks like. Humana actually having a decent day here. This stock has been pretty beaten down. Oh, that's Huma. It's not what I typed. Thank you very much. Here's Humana. Stock has been really, really beaten down. Looks like it's trying to take out the 50-day moving average. A close above that might change things here for Humana. This has been in a downtrend for quite some time.
CPOP trying to decide on which direction it wants to go. It's been putting up neutral candles on the 5-minute chart recently, and now it seems like it might try to go down. Looking for a breakdown beneath VWAP.
Let's see if it holds that VWAP here. It's held it so far. It actually hasn't even traded beneath it.
Nicholas, let me get you some.
Jay, answering my question here. January of 2023, SMCI Spruce Point shorted it when it was 80. They also did a short report on Skechers, ticker SKX, when it was 34. They got their fair share of dogs too, it looks like. All right, let's see if CPOP can bounce off the VWAP here. I've got that VWAP level at 372.
Nick, it's been blowing through most of them over the past couple of days. I'd say the next one is going to be 1250. 1250, and if not that, 1220. I think you're probably it might go up to 12 based on the levels I'm seeing. So that's what I would say. 1220 or 1250 be the next upside targets for INOD.
Apple at the highs here, just the opposite of the NASDAQ. CPOP coming back in. There's your VWAP break on CPOP.
There we go. Well, it's trying to get support, it looks like.
Yeah, it's true. It's trying to reclaim it here, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the MACD is looking like it's trying to, indicate that this is rolling over. So we might see this go beneath 350.
Indeed. So lots of things here telling us that this might not be it. You've got the declining volume, which is also turned to selling volume. As 13 mentioned, you've got the MACD looking like it's going to go negative here. Also, Christoph mentioning CPOP making lower highs on that 5-minute. All of that stuff tells me it's going lower here. Probably no buy yet.
And TAOP is a flop. It's under $1 now.
Well done.
I mean, that was we knew from the beginning that was just a junky buzzword name, and I guess it's not surprising that it's doing what it's doing now. Now that we've said that, watch this thing get completely hammered throughout the day, and then it does turn around and rip later on. That's how these junky names work sometimes. Oh wow, clean slate. Great job.
Clean slate. Ring that register, baby. That's exactly what we want to hear. Hopefully we'll continue to have you trading as a part of our group here. Clean slate. Go ahead and smash up that like and subscribe for the clean 40K this week.
Yeah,
40K.
There's your whole month. You can just put your feet up if you want, but I'm sure you'll be back for more.
Hims trading up after yesterday's move down. Sally, I'm with Sally here. Okay, Clean Slate, you're buying drinks for the group here. Indeed. NIVF, this one moving up higher here as well.
XPB is getting some movement here. Had a little bit of a stale opening. XBP.
Okay.
Xylophone, baloney. And I'll just let you figure out.
Xylophone. That's awesome. I mean, X-ray is what comes to my mind. But I mean, if xylophone is it, that's it. That's it. Xylophone. I've never heard that before.
Xylophone, baloney, purgatory.
Gee. Roblox, by the way, Roblox down huge on earnings here. Tried to pop out of the gate, but it is trying to just figure out what it's going to do here right at its VWAP.
Yeah, CPOP looks like 350 is going to have to be providing some support here, maybe just underneath it if we do break down. But I'd be looking for support right here in CPOP. If not, then it's going to probably be closer to 3. We get a reversal.
EMBC. This is not one I'm familiar with. Good pop here and holding that flag.
Yeah, I know it sounds like a Z. That's why I guess you're kind of getting the joke. That's why I was mentioning those. I know it's like it's X-ray Bravo. I don't remember what P is.
Papa.
That's right. It's been a while.
All right, still looking for some things to set up here. Let me know if you guys have any good setups. NASDAQ bouncing here.
Finally.
Hey,
stay focused. There you go.
Yeah, good morning. Stay focused.
We were just talking about you.
Good things. Don't worry, though. Good things. We were talking about you.
Right. Good.
No trades for me yet this morning.
Yeah, I done a couple CPOP trades, and that's all for me. I am thinking about maybe shaving off a little bit more FMC if we go a bit higher here. Palantir crash.
Palantir is crashing.
Good. We had that pop.
Opportunity to buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that big old move up. Now we need a big old move down. I think for Palantir, it was like under 20 is when I wanted to. I said earlier is when I wanted to get it.
Yes,
so.
yes, you did. Yes, you did. That'd be pretty good. Clean slate. I don't watch CNBC anymore. You guys have to stay the whole day. Look, that is definitely a goal. I don't think I'm at the stage where I can do that yet for you, but that would be pretty sweet. All day trading sesh. That would be sweet. Kind of go over the news as it comes out, break it down as it comes out.
Make
jokes, not bring the same analyst firms that are bullish on the same stocks every single day.
Same bridge troll telling you what to buy, what not to buy. Kramer.
Bridge troll.
Yeah.
Let's go. All day sesh would be so very awesome. Yeah, that's something to look into. Maybe that can create like some special day or something like that. I'll think about that. And ask the producers. We can pull that off. That'd be a lot of fun. I'm gonna need like lunch breaks and stuff though. Well, I guess only one.
Intermissions, we'll call them.
Intermission. The hockey fan in me loves that. 13. Let's call it an intermission. I see a bunch of stuff on my scanner, but none of it looks like a decent setup at all. I mean, CPOP maybe if it reclaims this VWAP here, maybe.
You know,
that 370. Sorry, that 372 that was former resistant or former support now acting as resistance.
I'm just was looking at Roblox. Folks are talking about it, and I've wanted to own this for a while, but the company just isn't profitable. They lose hundreds of millions every quarter, and that's
here we go.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. Here we go on CPOP. Let's see if it can clear this out.
Yeah, you go ahead and take a stab at that.
Yeah, I am going to take a stab at this. Let's see if we can.
I'm going to wait.
Yep, let's see if we can get above the VWAP here. Let's see if we can pop above 385. There we go. There we go. You know what? I'm going to book that right there as just a scalp, just to get some green on the screen. Now we'll see if we can get another setup there. So I'm 1 for 1 today instead of starting out 0 for 1, 0 for 2. So there we go. I actually probably should have bought that a little bit lower, maybe on that VWAP test, but nonetheless, little scalp there. That's okay.
Yeah, you can review your trade later.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. Morning, Jim. Love seeing you here. Going after CPOP second time using house money as a gauge. Ooh. Love the strategy there, Jim. Keep that up. Kevin here saying you guys are much better than listening to CNBC. More information than them. So that's really good to hear. And I think that the brass here at BZ would love to hear that too, because a lot of the stuff that 13 and I don't want to speak for 13. I'll let him do that himself. But a lot of the, stuff that I'm taking a look at, I learn from the other people that are connected to the news here at BZ, as well as traders that have more experience than me. Anyway, Ryan, are you doing any shorting? Not today yet, JJ. Not today yet. There will be a time for that, though. This is actually a good question. Stay tuned, because there will be a time for that. My personal outlook is that I do think the market really needs to kind of come back in. And during that time, I will absolutely try and short, but I've got nothing on here today.
Ryan, I think you took your gains at a really good time on that on CPOP.
Yeah, I just looking for anything. Just want to get some green on the screen, kind of break the bad trend that I've been in.
Well, since you sold, it's been going down.
Yeah.
So I was concerned about it. I even saw that some of these big orders.
Oh, look at the pull. Look at the big pull that we just got. Ooh. Okay, so this pull, though, I mean, I'm only saying this because I'm not in it. Let's be honest. But this pull here, this is really, really good, because what this is going to do is this is going to set this stock up for a potential reversal and bounce if it can shake out enough of those weak hands. So let's see where this thing actually settles. Just kind of looking at the chart here, this is definitely one of the areas, right? This 342 I've got right in here. This is one of the, let's just see where this bottoms. I'll wait for it to bottom and confirm. I feel like the first scalp there was just kind of more of a gamble than anything else.
Yeah, just be careful. We're under VWAP now.
JJ, would you short CPOP at any point? I would need to have a very specific game plan to do that. Generally speaking, when I'm looking for stocks to short, I'm not picking stocks that are in a $3 handle. I'd rather pick a stock in a $300 handle so that I have some more room to the downside. I'm not great at shorting low price stocks. I understand that plenty of people do it, and there might be a time for it, but that's not how I would approach it. That would not be my first attempt. I'd have to have something very, very specific.
I think your signals for a short trade in CPOP was when you were getting those three upper shadows out of the gate there. That was a pretty telling sign that this thing was going to go lower.
Actually, that's a really good point, 13.
I had mentioned that earlier, that those upper shadows weren't looking great, and now we're trading underneath VWAP. So when you see these kind of candles where it looks like the market or the trading is kind of indecisive or not sure if it has the strength to go up high like that, you can, almost, no, I don't want to say guarantee, but you can bet that there's going to be some downside if you don't get those levels taken out.
Real good stuff there. I love when I think that's one of the things that we can really do to kind of add value to the show is, we don't just, sure, we can tell you what levels are, but we can also tell you what we're seeing, why we take trades, why we're looking for things like that. There's more information behind that, and the thought process you just gave there on CPOP was great.
Thank you. I hope the people use that information to make some trades.
Yeah, and that's why I like highlighting comments from our chat here too. When you guys are talking about things before they happen, to me, that's the most valuable for the group. Because even if you don't trade that, you can watch to see how that catalyst plays out. book that as a lesson, and then learn from that going forward. I think there's a ton of value in there.
Getting a mention from Market Sniper, it feels like Calm wants to run. I see how that I see that set up there. Let's get a. I'm not saying it's not. It looks like it could. Just needed to get a little bit more volume expansion so we can bust through the 129, 130 area and get that movement.
Yeah, this high that we're trying to break was set on the highest volume stick of the day so far. So we would probably need matching volume in order to clear that range out. I have that actual price here at 129, which is the right where we're 2 cents beneath it. But I also see some size right above it, 131 most notably.
Mm-hmm. So I think it might be just a matter of minutes before we see that, if the volume comes in, if we see that volume come in. So this might just need to be given a tiny bit more time. Now, right now, I can tell you that it's already getting rejected at that pre-market high, which was at 127. So if we can maybe get above 127 and kind of hold there and see volume start to pick up above 127, that might be a good setup for a break above 129.
Good stuff there. Comment 126.5 right now. By the way, CGC bouncing off the lows here. ACB looking the same. So it looks like the pot stocks are kind of bouncing here. Hood, once it broke down through VWAP, now we've retraced this entire move. We're basically back to balance here.
Yeah, clean slate. I think you're absolutely right. iNod should be a really great AI play, especially for what the company does, and to kind of give
and
an idea.
Their clients are the biggest players in the industry, like Google and I mean, this is why this was a bull thesis when we talked about it the first time.
Yeah, and they're gonna. I think the discussion we've been having in Happy Hour is that iNod could end up seeing a lot of business, a lot of activity as we get closer to the election, and their services are going to end up being needed, as a result of that. So there should be a lot of online volatility that is going to, have that iNod's going to fill that need with.
Here's the big thing about iNod, and Zoltan, if you're still there, I know that you have experience with this, so I would love for you to chime in on this if possible. Here's the thing about iNod. They got a kind of a wacky CEO. His name is Jack, and he doesn't really like talking a whole lot. So, for example, when that short report came out, there wasn't really like a big defense for it. He doesn't really talk to analysts. The stock has no analyst coverage. Now, what's it worth? Well, I mean, the general consensus from our digging and our discussions here, maybe 12 to 15 bucks. So when the stock was $6 or $7, it was, a pretty good buy. Up here, I mean, I certainly wouldn't chase it after this power candle. I'm gonna wait for this to come back in, and I think it will. But the intriguing part here is that, man, if this CEO got some more exposure, if they had an IR team, for heaven's sake, and this stock could get some coverage, I mean, this stock might be a $25 stock. I liked it though. Just FYI. 13. That was for you.
Okay. Gotcha.
So anyway, well, not as wacky as Carp. Look, that guy's a genius. You're referring to the CEO of Palantir, I'm assuming, clean slate. That guy's a genius, and he hates short sellers. So you make of that what you will. That stock is hard to trade. Maybe there's a battle going on there, but I'm not betting against that company long term. Anyway.
He looks like the mad scientist type of crazy, so I'm there for it.
He really does. That's a good mention. He really does. Happy birthday, Sydney. Today's your birthday?
Oh, right. Happy birthday.
Oh, who's singing? Are we going to bring Alyssa on to sing? Let's bring Alyssa on to sing.
No, let's not bring Alyssa on to sing.
I actually wasn't even sure if you added yourself there. I was like, okay, well, I thought you were going to sing for Sydney there, but that's all right. Happy birthday, Sydney. Alyssa, I'm sorry for putting you on the spot there. Just trying to get some laughs this morning. You don't have to sing. Trust me, nobody wants to hear me sing. By the way, Palantir might be bouncing off that 21 level. Let's see if the VWAP gets reclaimed here. 21 and change.
It certainly looks like it. MACD is looking pretty decent so far, starting to curl. Also could just be one of those situations where we get a little bit above VWAP and then just come right back down. So be careful. Just looking at some of these old ones, CPOP. It's it's trying to find support at that. What is this? About 330, just above 330. FMC kind of looking all right. IVP, the sideways. Hood, may have found a bottom. 1783 is a low print today.
Hey, look, this is the move in Uber I wanted yesterday. That move right above 66.82. Look what we're getting today. We'll all be damned. All be damned. That was a level that I had put on the chart yesterday when I was trying to trade that. Look at that.
Oh,
that
man.
level got cleared out here today, acted as support here today. Boy, oh boy.
We should call it Duber because it is high.
That's good.
Oh, where's Wisdom for that one? He's going to miss it.
Wisdom packed it up.
Yeah, I know.
He packed it up early today.
I know. That joke was for him.
Yeah, CTMX, that was rough yesterday. And I was actually taking a look at that out of the open here for a potential bounce, but no juice. It actually just went lower on volume.
Smoke Tuna mentioning, oh, you got okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to take a look at it. A little bit of a volume pop there, but not a whole lot. Jay Summers looking at 315 for a potential bounce spot there in CPOP. Jay Summers, you're one of our most frequent scalpers. I feel like you're able to hit those 10, 15 cent ranges with the quickness. Let's see if we get that here on CPOP. 315, where did you get that from? Right here, right? Right in this area. CRDF getting mentioned. Upang rebounding after its earnings pull.
I think clean slate. Are you referring to REBN? I think that's when, because that was moving yesterday. I think that's when.
Yeah, REBN. Yeah, that's
okay.
Reborn Coffee.
Do I think it gets back to 418? I don't know, man. I think that move was in for yesterday. I mean, we didn't get a whole lot higher than 450. I mean, it's maybe the next upside. I'll tell you what. The next upside target I have for REBN is 670 or 370. So 370 probably gets up there. Maybe it gets rejected. Couldn't tell you. 418, I don't know. The volume is really going to have to expand. I'm sorry, I couldn't give you anything better than that.
Not much you can do when it's a penny stock.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah, Uber made new highs again. And it's the newest candle, kind of a neutral candle now. So let's see what happens.
I'm not seeing much. I'm kind of just rolling through a lot of the stock that I see on my scanner. I mean, Uber. This seems to be one of the better moves here.
Yeah, let me take a look at the scanner here, see what we got. It's basically all the stuff we've been trading already.
A couple of questions here. Elon, Alyssa, do you trade? Good luck if you do.
Hi. Yes, I do.
Yeah, she does.
Just not often. Like, really depends on what it is. I like to buy things when they like go, just dump all the way down, and then I'll buy. But yeah.
Well, Alyssa she takes a strategy. She likes to wait for the weekends to be out and then play the bounce. I think that's really smart. I should do a better job at that, honestly.
Getting a mention in the happy hour chat that there's an ARM interview coming up on CNBC, and the panel is pretty positive on the company, so it could get a pop. So keep an eye out with ARM. It has a pretty nice setup too. Made the high this morning of 102.33, and it looks like it wants to try to break over the 200 EMA on the 5-minute.
Real quickly here, Sally's asking 13. Can you talk about your reverse split idea at all?
The T-Bio one. So it's really simple. There's a lot of these names that we've seen this year where they've performed a reverse split. They tend to have a big big movement thereafter, and it's largely because you have these float. The float size gets so small that we get a number of traders trading at the same time. It really moves the stock a lot. So been looking for reverse splits. They've been pretty good at having these really good runs after they do the reverse split. IVP did a reverse split yesterday, 1 for 100. So now we're seeing the movement out of that. T-Bio, they did a reverse split today. So I was just kind of making sure that everybody knew about that, because this one could be the next one to run since their float now is really low. I think it's under 1 million. Let me just double check that for you. I don't know if I have the updated numbers yet, but they did a 1 for 18. And it's going to make it much easier to push around. So that's the whole thought behind these reverse splits, is that when they perform, they should get some pretty good movement shortly after, in the coming days. So just keep an eye on T-Bio for that.
We will continue to take a look at T-Bio here. Real quick, I want to answer this question here. Clean State asking, do you guys have a premium service? Yeah, you're in it. And the reason I answer it like that is because, first of all, we make our money with our jobs, whether it's trading or our job here at Benzinga. We are not interested in trying to monetize a chat room. That's actually what separates us from some of the stuff that you'll see out there on FinTwit. You're in our premium service, man. It's free. You come in here whenever you want, share ideas with the group. That is what makes it premium. If you're, paid services, I guess that's kind of a misnomer, because I do recommend Benzinga Pro. That's a newswire though, right? There's a specific utility for that particular service. News, squawk, scanners, charting, all of that information is how I do my trading. So you're in the right spot, my man.
Okay.
Sean is saying, can Ryan expand on weak hand shakeouts? Yeah, I absolutely can. I might probably be the best one to do this because my hands appear to be weak in a lot of these. So what I mean by that is when you start to have some of these stocks, when they make big moves, that generally speaking, if I buy stock A, I'm trying to make it as generic as possible. If I buy stock A and stock A goes up 20, 30%, generally speaking, I want to book some of those gains, right? If you're holding something and you don't feel great about either the catalyst or the price action or whatever's going on there, and it starts to kind of go against you, you might have what's called weak hands, where you just sell it because you don't really want to hold this. You don't necessarily believe in the story long term. So you're not willing to hold an asset as it's depreciating. There's definitely time for this, right? Like if I take a day trade on some junky stock here, I don't want to hold it as it's getting destroyed. I want to get out of it and wait for a better setup. So what I mean by the weak hand shakeout is, generally speaking, in some of these stocks, there's a lot of weak hands. It's not just me. It's not just one trader. It's multiple traders that don't really feel good about holding this. They're just hoping that they get that move. And when they don't get that move, you can shake some of those traders out of the stock, and that generally sets up the next move for the move higher. So let me know if that makes sense or if you need a further explanation on that.
And Jane Smith, good job on getting a little bit out of T-Bio before the reverse split. We're also starting to see ARM start to try to push up over this 200 EMA on the 5-minute. I don't watch CNBC, so I don't know if they're on, the interview's on yet, but
yeah, the CEO is currently talking. I can't hear him, but Rene Haas looks like this is his name.
Okay, so there could be some opportunity here in ARM. Just keep an eye on that one. Looks like we had our big holder of INOD in happy hour said he sold some this morning.
I would too, after another move up like this.
Yep. So just to kind of give you an idea of what they are doing. All right. Looks like FMC, something that Lion Atlas and I are in, might be trying to go for their intraday high of 66.46. It's slow moving, so not really a big day trader. This is more of like a long-term hold or a swing. Mullen, it popped and dropped this morning, and it may have found a bottom from the the demand zone in pre-market, and now it's starting to turn around and try to retake VWAP. So there could be another trade opportunity here in MULN.
Here it is. You're welcome, Sean. Thanks for joining us. NTBL. Notable Labs. What's going on here? Did we have any news on Notable Labs? NTBL? Let's see.
We were also getting some GitHub. I believe that's what GTHX is, right?
No, GTLB is. That's
right,
GitLab.
right.
That's GitLab. Sorry,
You're right.
GitHub.
You're right. I got that.
So let's talk about this though. GTHX, we have a rumor as of 12 minutes ago. Watching G1 Therapeutics, traders circulate M&A blog suggesting company rumored to have a CVR aspect that could value the company at between $12 and $14 a share. So let me get over. This is GTHX here. So there's a rumor here, potential buyout or potential that the company could be worth $12 to $14. Obviously, the stock was $4 when this hit. GTHX moving higher here on that. This was a good mention.
Yeah, great. I also see that they did earnings earlier this week too, in which they mentioned that their cash runway extends into the third quarter of 2025. So that's pretty good for a company that is a clinical trial company. I'm assuming that's what this is.
Let me,
well, commercial stage biopharmaceutical. So it's not really a clinical trial company. But kind of basically bigger. But man, this thing is absolutely ripping right now.
Well, remember, this is a rumor too, right? This is a straight up rumor. And in fact, you guys were asking about our premium service. Well, on Benzinga Pro, we actually have news items that are classified as rumors, which is what you're seeing right here. I color them pink so that they stand out in my news feed. But remember, buy the rumors, sell the news, right? And here we go. You're seeing that rumor. You're seeing the action of what that rumor is doing here to this stock. Doesn't mean that this is going to happen, but clearly this is driving the change in price at the moment. 580 looks to be the next resistance here.
Yeah, and just so we're all aware, this isn't just an invitation to start buying it at whatever price. Make sure you have your entries and your exits, established, or what you intend to get out of this. Don't just trade this blindly.
Yeah, right there. Just got rejected at 580. We'll see if it's strong enough the third time through here. We've already tested it twice. I've got the VWAP here at 527, maybe a potential bounce spot, support in the low fives, maybe. Let's call it 510, 515, that area in there. So let's see at 5. They're actually moving some of those offers down from that 580 spot.
Hey, don't look now, but ARM is popping.
Market Sniper looks like you're looking to load up 525 GTHX.
Yep. Voodoo got it. Nice job, man. That was, oh man, I gotta say also thank you to the gentleman in Happy Hour who mentioned that. That was really, really good idea and great call.
Which one, ARM?
On ARM, yeah. That was really good.
Nice job, folks. Jay saying HD earnings next week, getting that little run. So HD running into earnings here. Indeed. Actually, it looks on the daily chart. Did we pop above this yet? 347.
ARM with new intraday highs and going higher. Zim looks like it's going to curl to take out 16. My God, guys, we are having this was looking like it was going to be a really bad day, and it is turning out to be great.
Yeah, there was not a lot going on earlier. CDLX just retook its VWAP. See what's going on with GTHX.
Warner Bros. Is working on a new Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah, I heard about that, and it's
real?
probably going to be crap.
If you know, you're right.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not excited about really any of the remakes that I hear about. Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite movie series of all time.
Yeah, and
the Amazon show was absolute garbage.
Just
garbage.
That didn't exist to me. I watched the whole thing. I thought it was just
Didn't
it's just a
exist to me.
big old
Take
it's just
that.
a big old turd stain on the underwear of Tolkien.
Oh my God.
Anyway, the whole thing that they're coming out with now, I believe that's more geared towards just the hobbits, right? It's just more of a series on the Hobbit life, not so much going to introduce humans or orcs or any of these other things.
So you're saying it's going to be short?
Good one.
Look, man, I'm gonna keep trying to throw dad jokes right back at you. Let's be
That was a good
perfectly
one.
honest right now.
That was a good one. I'm glad I immediately got it too. It was that good. So yeah, I heard that they're doing something. I think it's supposed to be more of a Hobbit perspective. I don't know why.
Oh, the new movie? Or whatever?
Yeah.
I'm seeing it's supposed to like focus on Gollum.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What's the title of the movie called? The Precious?
The Hunt for Gollum.
The Hunt for Gollum.
My precious.
Yeah,
As a Hunt for Red October fan, that offends me. Just saying.
Yeah. Anyway, James. That Hobbit life. God, you guys are great. No, it's going to be called Second Breakfast.
Oh, that's perfect. By the way, GTHX here, this looking like it might try to roll over on this 3-minute chart here, 3 consecutive candles with some upper wicks. Let's see if this comes back into VWAP and gives us an opportunity. I will continue to monitor the news to see if there's anything added to this, but I haven't seen anything since the initial rumor, GTHX. STFU, Hunt for Red October, is absolutely one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't know if there's another movie that I've seen more times in my life than The Hunt for Red October. That's back when Alec Baldwin was an actual human being instead of a degenerate. And I also had Sean Connery, one of the greatest actors of my lifetime.
What are your top? Sorry, listen, I didn't interrupt you.
No, I'm literally just saying I've never seen that movie.
Oh, it's worth a watch. It's a good.
I mean, it's a submarine spy thriller. So
yeah.
if those things don't interest you, you're going to find it dry, old, and boring.
two things. One, C4, that's CCCC. That's popping right now. It's at 693.
Look at GTHX just broke new highs. I'm sorry for interrupting, but this thing on that curl back just popped through the highs. This is now the biggest volume candle of the day on GTHX. That happened so fast. I don't even know how you could have bought that one. GTHX. Those of you that were trading this, I would, recently after that pop, when we started discussing it, I think I would consider booking into this move. Nice job, Jane. Nice job, Jane.
Second question I have is, what are your top 3 submarine movies?
Top 3 summer. I mean, the top 2 are easy. It's got to be Hunt for Red October and Crimson Tide right at the top. The third one, let me think of what the third one could be.
It's tough to get a third one, isn't it?
Not really. I mean, I don't want to be criticized, but I'd really probably have to put K-19 Widowmaker on there just because Harrison Ford is such a G. Or was that McConaughey? No.
No. The McConaughey one is one of my top 3. The U571 movie.
U571.
And Das Boot is actually really good too. But I gotta say U571 was a really, really good submarine.
Yeah, U571's not bad. I think just maybe I just like Harrison Ford too much, and then I put Widowmaker ahead of it. K-19 Widowmaker.
If we're gonna put Harrison Ford into a military movie, it's gonna be either Clear and Present Danger, Patriot Games.
Those are great. The entire Jack Ryan series is phenomenal.
Those are more political, but nothing beats.
Oh, you know what?
Nothing beats Air Force One. Get off my plane.
I take that back. Under Siege is going to be my third favorite. I'm no stranger to that 90s. Under Siege. Do you not consider it a submarine movie? Maybe not. It's on a battleship. So.
And the submarine gets destroyed anyway. They blow it out of the water.
GTHX here, by the way. Oops, let me get rid of this one. GTHX here, 6 definitely coming here, I think. Or 6 test here, definitely coming on GTHX. I'm not sure that this is done. And looking ahead here, I do see some size at 6 on this one.
You're looking at GTHX. I'm looking at CCCC. That one's looking for 7.
And yeah, Steven Seagal, not great with his acting skills. Completely understand. But man, oh man, those Under Siege and Under Siege 2, I'll watch those anytime that they are on. Cheesy action movies like that, oh, I'll take it.
They don't have them anymore, so they're great now.
Exactly. Well, that conversation about submarines really escalated quickly.
It did. Oh, awesome, Jane. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that too. I'm going to give you a 1-up for that, Jane. That's really awesome. Steven Seagal cannot run. Like, it's impossible. Like, he literally like can't run anymore from injuries or something.
It's funny that she says that because I'm thinking about his movies and I don't ever recall a time where I've seen him run.
No, he whoops people's ass very, very methodically. He doesn't need to run.
Wow, I know, it's such a good one. And it's flagging right now and it looks like it wants to go higher.
GTHX, big pullback here. Let's see if it stops and gives us a run. 550, 549 is the VWAP. I do see some bids at 550. And there it goes. They just took it out. Let's see if this bounces and reclaims here. Big pullback coming, GTHX.
So C popped down to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. Looking to see if this is going to be a bounce spot for it. And if not, we're going to 280.
So these offers here on GTHX, these are getting bought.
Sally, roll the clip.
I kind of want to try some of this. Let's see here if we can get a nice little bounce here. I'm going to be very, very tight on this one. This seems risky. What did I miss?
I'm just looking up.
I think we're getting a little bit off topic with the Steven Seagal discussion.
Hey, he does
the
that. He's got that kind of effect on people. Steven Seagal, yeah. It's an easy way for you to lose track of what you're trying to do here. Come on, GTHX, let's bounce here. I know this is risky. I know I might be trapped in it.
I am watching
Hood is possibly turning around here. MACD is looking pretty decent. 1781 is the low currently. Same thing with IVP. That kind of is a bit of a curl going on here as well. If we do get some upside momentum, it's going to fill a gap between that it created today, intraday, between.
Stopped out of GTHX. Sorry about that.
439 and 455. There's a gap to fill. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it did fill almost later on. But
wait, so Sally, this is hysterical. Roll the clip. It looks like you almost had a clip roll. You're watching it, aren't you? I'm not, but now the FOMO's getting me. I actually really want to Google this now.
No, let's get back to trading.
I was going to say, I'm going to wait for the show to be over, but I'm going to check that out. Steven Seagal can't run well. That's a real thing. By the way, GTHX, big time pullback here. My bounce right around VWAP did not materialize, so we stopped out of that.
Pins getting mentioned. That has a nice candle getting put in right now, trying to get above the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. We have a whole bunch of pre-market consolidation it's running up into. So between 42.50 and call it 42.70 should be some issues trying to get through this, but when the volume comes in, we could chew through it.
42.80 is your intraday high yesterday and the pre-market high for today. It looks like it tested that earlier today.
As far as the news market sniper, I'll take a look for you because I don't know what this is moving on because its initial move was down. Doesn't look like there's any news today. There's a couple articles on it from yesterday. Price target from Monday to 49. We're $6.50 away. Other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot. So maybe more of a technical move. Oh, That's a really good point, STFU. I don't know that I would call it a submarine movie though. It's more like that was an oil rig that they were on, right? That wasn't a submarine.
It's been a long time since I've seen The Abyss.
But I'll give you this. That is an excellent movie. One of Cameron's best.
You know what? So I'll go see if I can Amazon Prime that, because I want to join your conversation. It's been too long. I don't have a good enough memory of that, but we'll check into that.
A research submarine facility. It's just so weird because I remember seeing that, and it doesn't. The whole rig setup they have there. I just don't know that because there's no torpedoes getting shot at anybody. I guess that's why I was kind of looking for more of the sub versus sub action in order to call it a submarine movie. But I guess you're right. It could be considered that.
Ryan, do you have Hulu?
I don't.
Oh, I think it's on Hulu right now.
Oh, Abyss is on Hulu right now. I mean, I can probably just get it on Prime, even if I have to buy it.
$4.
$4, right? What's the big deal? It's supposed to be a great movie. I've seen it, but
yeah, bottom of it. Well, they weren't.
May as well call Titanic a sub movie.
AGPA with a big old knife.
That's the funniest thing I've heard. My stomach hurts. That is so funny. Oh my God. Kudos to you, Jay. Now we might be getting that bounce in GTHX. See, so our conversation about the weekends earlier, GTHX had to shake out those weekends, of which I was one of them. Maybe now we actually bounce from here. Let's see.
Sultan is out Zim. If you're watching, congratulations on an awesome, awesome trade. And your calls while you're holding that. That was amazing. All right. ARM going higher. New highs. Let's see. Maybe it goes to
earlier on ARM. You guys did a really good job with that.
It looks like it could go as high as 104.65. I have a low there from yesterday during the regular session, so I think that might be a potential resistance area.
Yeah, you guys, the Dow is ripping here. So we had mentioned that clear outperformer here today. Q's the worst performer, although it is bouncing off that big pull right off the open.
So that's going to be something that's really interesting to me, because if we're getting weakness in the tech side of the market and into some more of the value side and rotation into more of the value side of the market, we could see a lot more of these dividend paying companies start to do better, especially if there's a sentiment brewing that rates might get cut. Starting to see a lot of CDs. And what was the other thing we were talking about where we were giving us an idea that we might see rate cuts? There was something else.
It was the CD rates that we had talked about just, I think, yesterday, the day before.
It was that, and then in happy hour somebody else brought something else up. Maybe I have a note about it, but there was some other indicator that we should be looking at, I think, is what was being brought up.
Costco, nice rip today here on Costco. Tell you what, all I had to do was miss buying this on weakness 20 or 25 times, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to change this. I'm going to make sure I buy, even if it's only one share at a time. Costco doing nice. Hunter Killer, stay focused, shouting out that submarine movie. I
haven't seen that one. I'm not going to say if it's a submarine movie or not. I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't be able to have a good opinion on it.
DJT, this is a good mention. Really good mention here. Voodoo and probability. This did pop here. I'm not sure. Is there any news on this? I don't have like a Trump news feed. Like I try not to follow that stuff as closely as possible for my own sanity.
You'd have to have a Truth Social account, I guess.
And I don't have that.
Okay. So One of the things that I had pointed out this morning, I think it was to you and into the happy hour group, was that there was an article that came out yesterday about how some of these oil and gas companies are starting to write executive order legislation for Trump once he becomes, if he becomes president again. Basically, they're effectively making him an author on these policies that they want. And they're doing this because they don't believe that he's going to maintain focus on policy. He'll be distracted with, he's a loose cannon. He'll just do whatever comes to his mind. And so these oil and gas companies, they want him to, sign off on things that are aimed at pushing natural gas exports, cutting the cost of drilling, and increasing offshore oil leases. So if you guys know of companies that are publicly traded in those particular spaces, of which there are many, you might want to consider those if it looks like we are going to get a Trump presidency, because those are poised to do really well, especially off this news.
Good stuff there. I didn't see anything that attributing to that pop, but it is popping there. Boot, this is higher after that Spruce Point report yesterday.
I don't know SCFU, but I think COD is, a little bit closer to the Call of Duty crowd now. Unemployment, Roman Sanchez saying unemployment rate print above 4% would encourage Fed to cut rates. I think it would. I think that's because I've said for a while that the job market is the last pillar to fall. It's one thing that's been keeping this economy going is the number of people employed with the money that they get from their jobs is helping keep the economy going. We just had one of the Fed members say that exact thing yesterday. And we've been, and Happy Hour and myself, we've been saying that since last year. That's what's keeping up. So yes, unemployment rising would be a really good sign, because that is one of the things that is needed in order for this economy to show some weakness, and in turn to have the Feds, be more comfortable about cutting rates.
Well said.
Oh, nice, Kevin.
Looking around here. Let's see Pop doing. Not great. Not great.
Looks like AGBA might be bouncing off that 345 level. See if it's just the volume's not great, and the MACD is not showing really a curl yet, so this still could go lower. Just be careful with AGBA. It had an ugly knife about 5 minutes ago. Uber looks like it's trying to get going again. The volume
Uber got going over that level this morning, which was kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Could have done that yesterday. It would have been great for me if it had done that yesterday. Just a day early on that. Just a day early on that.
Looks like CPOP might be either getting support in this area, or it's just going to start to head down to 280. Volume's not great. Looking like it might just go down to 280. No, you guys are the best, Kevin.
You guys really are the best. This community really is the best, without a doubt. SLQT, let's see if that can reclaim the VWAP here. OTLY, this was one that Spruce Point did a short report on, if I'm not mistaken. Oatly. I think they were fudging their numbers or something like that.
DJAF, I don't love Trump. I'm just mentioning that if he does get reelected, those are the stocks you want to pay attention to. This is a trade idea, not a political.
Yeah, and we're going to keep talking about him regardless. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, especially if he's the next president. It's going to be a lot more of that.
Yeah, we're looking for trade ideas. I'm not even connected to him politically at all. Not for me. But I will talk about him if there's trade ideas. Absolutely.
Yeah, so will I.
FMC is still pushing up higher. Liking what I'm seeing. Aren't you, Lion?
Yeti, not reclaiming its VWAP either. I hope it makes the market great again too. Believe me, I'd rather
SPY.
trade a better market than this junk.
SPY on the move. What's SPY doing now?
NASDAQ, big pop, by the way. Same with the SPY here. There's got to be something going on. There's got to be something going on there. Natural gas storage, jobless claims, continuing jobless claims. Nothing since that print. Don't see anything huge in there.
What is happening?
And CPOP continuing to break down.
Well, we're through. I mean, I had mentioned that this would be something that could happen. Remember in our pre-market fist fight that just the way that the we were coming back up to 1830, looked like we'd go through. So now we're through. I don't want this to go too much higher. If we double top, that'd be fine, I guess. But I still want to see, you know, more of a corrective move in this market, because if we don't get it, then that just kind of increases the risk that the downside when we do get it will be much worse than it would be if we corrected.
You always want corrections. Those are healthy for a market. And if you talk to any market veteran who's been around for longer than you have, they're generally going to say the same thing. They're generally going to say the same thing. Warby Parker holding its move higher here from earnings. I don't really see anything else going on in terms of setups really at all. The FinTwit looks a little light on the ideas as well. Normally, if I can go to FinTwit when I see nothing else, but not today.
Yeah, it looks like volume's really starting to dry up pretty handily here.
Sure is.
Hey, look at that. We're almost an hour and a half into the trading day, and we're only at 10 million shares.
Hey, stay focused. We appreciate you, my man. Smash up that like. Say that one more time, 13. Sorry, I ran you over.
No worries. I'm just kind of looking at the SPY, seeing how we're just, you know, hanging around 10 million shares traded so far after an hour and a half of the market, almost an hour and a half. So might be another one of those low float day or low trading, low volume days. Boyle on the move, NG heating up. Okay, so because of that headline, that news that we were just talking about, that's probably why we're starting to see natural gas. Because if the whole idea is that you know, the Trump presidency changes the whole narrative on oil and gas, which is expected, then those companies are poised to do really well. You have Biden that's blocking natural gas exports right now, and the other guy wants to, you know, release it all. So, you know, I don't want to get into politics here, but if there's trade ideas and there's trade setups, we're going to talk about which guy is going to do what.
I'm going to be buying some of those if that's the case. Just FYI.
So Boyle might be interesting off that news. We'll keep an eye on that one. It is really moving. 6%.
GTHX finally bounced. Now it went back to its VWAP. I don't think this is done here. I don't think this is done for the entire day. I think you're going to have multiple opportunities here. You're going to have to be patient, though. I took a loss waiting for this move here.
That's an interesting point there, Jay Rice, and I think Stay Focused is you know, on that as well. They are. I mean, they have been using like runoff, natural gas runoff to power crypto miners. So using that same idea for powering data centers is, I think it's either already in play or it's being explored. And I was mentioning Chevron. Is the entire sector just kind of moving on that news? It seems like it.
And we do have Zunaid joining us pretty soon, folks, so stick around for that.
Right.
Zunaid's going to be doing an interview here just a little bit early.
Yes, they do, Christopher. They absolutely do. Ever since the Russia-Ukraine war started, that's been an issue for them, is their natural gas imports. Absolutely. Uber's still trying to push higher.
Yeah, Lynn, we're doing all right. How are you doing there? How are you doing in Tornado Alley?
The Crow, German going heavy on natural gas. I know they need natural gas. Are you talking about they're going heavy on buying it, exploring for drilling? What exactly do you mean they're going heavy? Uber still pushing up. Intraday high 68.34.
GTHX took the VWAP out and is consolidating there. Again, not sure it's done. No position. Uber, this looks like this wants even more highs.
Buying for their own use. Got it. Okay. Thank you, Crow. All right. FMC, new intraday high. Lion and I are enjoying this. CPOP still hasn't turned around yet, so I still think 280 is on deck. We just need to see this breakdown of 3.
Purgatory Park says there's not enough talk about the energy consumption coming with all these new data centers. AI is energy intensive. We're not there yet, though. This actually is something that we have discussed here. We Stay Focused, in fact, who's part of the chat right here, he did mention some of this in part of his data center thesis. We've talked about this on Happy Hour as well. I don't think we've made any trades on the energy companies with this as the angle, but this is definitely a good mention. This is definitely something that we're going to keep an eye on.
Oh, no, I don't think that's necessarily true. We have made some trades. Utilities. We have been buying. There's the folks in Happy Hour that have been buying utilities.
Yeah, sorry, I meant for this show. I don't think I've traded.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
I've traded any of those names on this show, but you're right. We do have this discussion quite a bit.
Yeah, utilities has been the and Line Atlas. I am checking those out. Utilities has been a topic of discussion for us because they are one of the most hammered sectors so far year to date, and they're starting to turn around and come back. And you can see that in some of these indexes. These ETFs that they have out there. What's the one that we talk a lot about? And it's not the XLU, but there's another one that pays a large amount of dividends. Anyway, we're looking at those because they're rate dependent. We see that there's a huge demand for electricity, so they are going to be very much in favor. We also have weakening consumer, so that's going to drive the economy down a bit. And the stocks that companies rotate into, and we see that weakness in the consumer and in the economy is they rotate into defensive names, and utilities are among those because people are still going to need electricity. They're still going to need to power their homes and their computers and everything they do because we're all electronic now. So utilities, defensive names, they tend to be really, really strong in times where the economy is weakening.
Well done. Well said. GTHX, by the way, this was the move that I was hoping to play from the VWAP bounce. Looks like it traded a little bit beneath VWAP, but then gave you the move. Let's see if it takes those highs out here.
What's up, y'all? Good morning.
Hey, Zunaid.
The dude.
What is going on?
Market happenings, man. That's about it.
I really
GTHX rumors.
Yeah. I gotta get this set up at my place. I might have to figure out how to
The blue room is sweet, isn't it?
Dude,
the blue room
nice,
is sweet.
Man.
Yeah, it's really nice. And you got that fan right off to your right, that dual fan, just to make sure you can keep the temperature correct. Yeah, the blue room's nice.
Right there it is. But we've got an exciting guest. We're gonna talk some trades. I know typically we talk options on Tuesdays and Fridays, but today's Thursday. So we're gonna go ahead and bring on my man Jason from Paper Gains. You guys may have heard of him and might have heard of some of his ideas, as he's one of the bigger ones on the Twitter Spaces, or I guess X Spaces. I don't know what it's called, but dude has some solid insight. Got a chance to catch up with him yesterday. I'm excited to talk some trade ideas. Should be fun, man.
Hell yeah, looking forward to that. Take it away, dude.
Awesome. You got it. 13. Pleasure to see you, pal. Jason, give me a thumbs up when you're ready to go, and I'll go ahead and bring you on screen. My man, Jason, what is going on, bro?
What's going on, man? Let's go. We're in the house.
Yes, we are. What is up? I know you've been trading in the morning. I heard you. Well, give the viewers, before you share your screen, by the way, if you want to share your screen, you can hit present on the bottom. Then you can click on share tab and we can get rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
But, I was telling them about how you trade a lot of different things, but options is the main thing that you and I want to kind of focus on here today, and kind of give the folks maybe a trade idea going into next week, or maybe even something a little different that you might have up. So as soon as your screen's up, I'll go ahead and share it, but give us a little bit of insight on what we got going on here.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm looking around. I think I'll just start general, market, kind of where we are, right? I think it's been, if you haven't noticed, we've had like very low volume the last 3 days. Actually, like 3 days ago, I think it was the lowest volume day of the year.
Yeah.
And then another day after that, lower, and then lower again. And here we are, still lower, but there's the old saying, never short a dull market, right? And I think what we're seeing is kind of like this slow grind to the upside.
Yeah.
So from an overall index perspective, today is a good day for sure.
Yeah.
I think if we pull it back, at least look at about a week's worth of data on the charts, then we can see, okay, we're consolidating towards the highs, and we could break out a little bit, but does that breakout equal a sustained move? That's what we don't know, right?
Yeah.
So in the near term, I think, for today, tomorrow, very short term myopic view, I think we could go a little bit higher. But where do we go from there? Where does that put the market? I think is what the next, where we want to be. Where's the puck going to?
I got you. Yeah. Were you able to share your charts?
Yeah, sure, I can share. So I'm trying to trading now.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
Let
You're
me
good.
just do this. Pick which screen.
If not, I can also, just share mine.
That's fine. So this is.
Right, so I'm good to share this. I just want to make sure you're.
I mean, this is just what I have right now. This is what This is what we normally share in our private groups. This is my view. So on the right hand side, I have actual contracts that I'm looking at trading.
Nice.
I think some of the guys were talking earlier about Uber. I think that was a really good one. Let me just change this time frame a little bit. So we've seen in the last few weeks over earnings season, we've seen a lot of moves reverse actually. Right. So Netflix is, I think, to like the most obvious, right? A huge drawdown and then instantly reverse course right up to the highs, exactly to, the point of where we just came from. Meta seems to be just one more that's about to do exactly the same, right? So we, earnings report 495. Yeah. Here we are crossing that 20-day simple moving average. On my screen, there's a white line and a blue line. That's a 20-day simple moving average and a 50-day simple moving average locked on the daily time interval.
Yeah.
I always have that locked there, so it doesn't move no matter what interval chart I'm looking at. So I can be on a 15. It's in the same spot as a 3 hour or 1 hour, etc. So I think that's kind of important, just as an aside. But this type of move we're seeing a lot, and today we have one more that's happening as we speak that you guys may or may not have caught. And that's Celsius, right? So Celsius is actually exceeding the prior high from where it just came to report.
Yeah.
So I think with this theme in mind, knowing that I don't necessarily want to press major upside bets, I think Shopify becomes one that we instantly put on at least a watch list.
Yeah.
For the next couple weeks, right? And so what we're doing, if we look at these kind of setups, this looks pretty bad from an earnings perspective, but then it wasn't so bad necessarily, when you actually drill into the numbers, similar to a Netflix. Like there might be something that kind of caught off, but from a trading perspective, we want to look at what's the inflection point of where do we actually get into something like this, right? Yeah. And so the first point of like order is to find out of this drawdown. It's not right away, right? So we can give it a couple days, but you get like another second day follow through, then a third day of basing price action. That's right here. Mm-hmm. And then a pop that gets pulled back and locks in another higher low. So this is the low, higher low. And we want to see this kind of basing action in the next couple of days, which sets it up for about like your time frame, about a week or so out.
Yeah.
So if we see something like that on Shopify, that first price level that we want to look at, I'm just going to use this really quick.
Sure.
Sorry, let me delete some old stuff here.
Oh, you're good.
Moving a little fast on the screens. Shopify is an interesting one, right? So from a downside perspective, and I'll usually use multiple time frames. So just before I take a trade, I would say look at multiple time frames before you look at anything. So from a weekly perspective, this is where we are. This was that last higher low. And I want to look at where's the point of contention, right? Where would another higher low end up showing up? and it's exactly where we are. So now I'm interested in this, if that makes sense. And
If
I
it
want to
holds, right? If that level holds, and if it doesn't
and I
make
want
it
to kind of
lower,
connect
yeah.
this, right?
Love
So we're
it.
very close. And if we do pull back just a little bit more, it doesn't mean I'm going to instantly buy. That's not how this works, right? What we are looking for is we're going to look for kind of like that basing consolidation period. So this is 2 days in. Want to give it a couple days, but today we can actually get our level. And I'm going over to an hourly chart. Sorry, I'm flipping a lot of time frames.
No, this is perfect. Yeah.
But this is how we do it, right? So it's never just like 1 day view that I'm looking at. It's always going to be, hey, I want to have multiple days of in my view initially. And so the real level is going to be 64.21. So it's pretty precise to me. We want to see this kind of hold, but even if it stops going down. So if I go back to something like a Netflix just for a minute and we look at that chart, just because it stopped going down from an options perspective doesn't mean that it's going to go up. So that's not the time that you want to buy calls just because it's not going down anymore. You want to wait for one of these levels to actually start to break.
Yeah.
And that in this instance, you had 2 levels. So it was 56.79, 567.90, sorry, right here.
Yeah.
When it breached this high, and you can instantly see this is in the pre-market, a lot of volume coming in and start pushing it higher. So that's your entry level. And then if you miss that, there's usually a second opportunity. And that's right here at this last high at 578, which was like, hey, this is the last opportunity to buy. And then we're gone. Right. And so for Shopify, the first level that we want to see right now, we've actually got. So the first level is 64.21. From here, we want to see it base out the next couple of days. And if you see Shopify trading over that 64.21 in the next week or so, I think that's probably going to set up for a decent reversal. And that's going to be all the way up to probably around this red line actually here is about a 200-day simple moving average. So that would be like your first target right into this consolidation, this prior consolidation.
Yeah.
So from a technical perspective, this would be your prior support, which could become new resistance. So that would be first target up there around 67. And then, from a momentum perspective, a lot of this, sorry, I got a lot of old trades here.
No, you're good. Well, I am curious. So let's stick with Shop, right?
Sure.
You played out the charts. You played out the levels. What would you say is the trade that you would look? I'm not saying you got to take it, but like what would be the trade if you were to enter this?
So on something like this, if I see this happening, so we know that first stop is going to be around that 68 level. So would I actually be looking about $68 calls in the near term? And so when you're talking about options, a lot of people will tend to pick the strike that is their ultimate target price. And I think that's probably one of the worst things that you can actually do, especially when we're talking about longer dated things or things that might take a little bit longer to play out. So someone might be, prone to picking a $70 call or a $75 call for a couple months out on something like this if we do see a reversal. With those, what I'd say is that earnings volatility is going to be burning off for the next couple days, and we'd probably want to see this happen next week and wait for this week's expiration to completely fall off altogether. And then we know that volatility is going to start kind of baselining from there. And if that does happen, I would go just slightly out of the money. But again, your target, once you get to your ultimate price target, you want your contracts actually to be just barely in the money. So if I pick something, I want to pick it while it's slightly out of the money, have my first target be at the money, and then I'll hold what we call runners through the money, right? So like if you're talking in delta terms, I don't want to get too deep, but like picking something up that's like a 35 delta, taking most of your profits at 50 delta, and then having some runners into an 80 delta at most, right? And nothing else outside of that.
Yeah. So you're going to wait till some price action happens and then possibly enter a trade next week, right? Because you said you want to wait till things fall off.
This would be in next week's, and it depends on where it is, right? So if it's breaking the 64, then I would be looking at that 68, and then taking profits around that just under 70. That would be at the money or slightly in the money, and then having my runners up to maybe 75. But even then, at that point, you might be able to what we call roll. So sell my shorter dated, my nearer to the money strike, and then take some of that principal and profits, put in my pocket, and take a little bit of the profits and move it into a higher strike and roll it up higher.
Got it. Well, tell the folks where they can find you whenever you do take this trade or any of the other trades that you're taking today, tomorrow.
Yeah, I have
next
one
week.
more actually. If we
Oh, go ahead.
have some time, so I just posted this on our timeline. If you're not familiar, it's at Paper Gains Inc. Inc. So just be really careful. This is an interesting one for me right now. So this is FedEx, and this is, I think, probably one of the best setups that I have at the moment. So I talked about these simple moving averages. These are getting really tight. So right here, 20 and 50 day, very, very tight. Yesterday, we had the narrowest range since the last earnings report on FedEx, bouncing right off this red line, which is the 200-day simple moving average. And today, printing a pretty nice reversal candle with earnings all the way out till June. So something like this, I'd actually marry up with a couple other confluences. So this is a fib if you are familiar with fibs at all.
Yeah, of course.
But so from the swing low to swing high, that 200-day simple moving average lined up exactly with the 618 fib and the 200-day. Sorry, and then again that candle reversal, 2 to 3 candlestick setup. This is here. If we're extending beyond at this point, what we want to see is FedEx hold over 260, or we can see it clean over 262, 263. So if you get a daily open that's clean over that level, then I think we're in line. And then on something like this might be a little bit better from a swing trading perspective, just because there was a massive flow on the options orders out to September. And so yesterday there was like 18,000 volume, or now there's 11,000 open interest on September 300 calls, which is pretty much right back to retrace that whole move. That would be an amazing win if something like FedEx were to do this. But the setup is here now, and we've seen a lot of these types of setups move. This is not something I would suggest going short dated on. I think that strike is a pretty decent strike right now. And then, taking profits on the way. But something like this, your first target's going to be right around, if you're taking a bullish trade, you want to know where the bears are. Right. So you just do the exact inverse. So swing high to swing low. If this is the swing low, your initial target's going to be right around this 273 level right here. Yeah. And that's about a 50% retrace of this pullback right now. So that's first target.
Yeah. Well, we'll do some rapid fire just simply because I've got to get going.
Yeah, no worries.
So
it's Jace. It's Paper Gains.
Oh, no, you're good. I want to go back to FedEx. I want to go back to FedEx real quick because I want to ask some. I want to cut some shorts out of this. So for content purposes, what is the trade? Like, what's the contract that you're taking? Because you say you posted on Twitter, I know, but what's the trade itself?
Yeah. So right now it would be this FedEx. So I'm going to post it right here. So right now, it's going to be September 900 call. And I'm going to move this out here. So yesterday's volume was pretty massive. Yesterday, that call option traded around 380. So I'm going to look. What we're going to do is we're going to look for this to base. If I get any extension or a weekly close over 262,
I assume you mean 300 calls, by the way.
Yeah, these are 300 calls for September. Sure. So this is actually a pretty decent swing. And again, a sustained move here. This gets you all the way through. With this much time, this is a little bit different. So it's very far out of the money, but there's a ton of time on this one.
Where are you stopping out? Where would you stop out? So we're into the September 300 calls. Your stop loss would be where?
So you have a hard stop loss if you breach 255. Anything below a daily close or 2 to 3 daily closes below 255, this trade is completely invalidated, and we are going lower, right?
And then your first target is the 50% retracement, which is what strike, which is what spot price.
So we're gonna go and undercut it just a little bit, and so the first target for me would be just around 270.
Got it.
And then 273 would be the next one, and then 277 from there.
Perfect. Awesome. Appreciate you, man. This is great content. I think I've never really taken. It's been you're still sharing your screen, by the way. Heads up. Let me here. I think this is great content, especially because I'm so used to kind of like day trading and different things like that. That for me, going out to September is probably more profitable because you get more chances to get that wiggle room and that profitability aspect of it, and you don't have to deal with IV as much and the volatility with gamma.
Right. And actually, in something like this, we can say at the same time, you look at volatility in terms of the option perspective,
Yeah.
you're the 12 percentile volatility. So these are actually very cheap after having that huge sustained run, pulling back 50%. Just on a chart perspective, from a chart perspective, we know that technically FedEx really hasn't gone anywhere for a very long time at this level. And so just by looking at the chart, you should know that, hey, volatility is actually pretty low on this one.
Yeah.
And we can confirm that again, looking at that option chain, is this extremely low volatility. So pricing is good. If you're going to be a good options trader, you kind of want to have that at least a decent grasp of what that looks like.
Yeah.
And finding those opportunities where you can get a discount on a directional play. I think that's going to give you just a slight edge on top of what else you're looking for.
Looks like we've got Crassus doing something similar with Roblox and you next week. But Jason, appreciate you, folks.
Yeah,
you can find Jason at Paper Gains INC on X. There, he's got a Discord as well. So if you like what you see on Twitter, you can always get more action and more trade ideas from him. And they've also got an educational side to things as well. But Jason,
a
appreciate
ton of
you, man.
education.
Look forward to having you on next week sometime. Yeah.
All right, Zunaid.
Take care, brother.